Welcome back to a very special Swifter podcast. This is the
Welcome
Swifter.
back to a special review episode.
Yes, this is the.
Sorry if I sound weird. I have my retainer in.
This is the Swifter review of the Tortured Poets Department by.
We've been cooking this up for a few days.
Yes, the one and only Taylor Swift has graced our ears with some new music.
So we're gonna review it.
Gosh, where do
Give our
we even start? Is the question.
I think we just go front to back.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, before that though, I want to address. I didn't see this before last episode, but I want to say that apparently there is a lot of Swiftie conspiracy around number 2. And a lot of them thought it was going to be a double album because she was putting like a lot of twos out there.
Hmm.
And then she released the double, like the second half of the double album at 2 a.m. if it couldn't be more annoying.
Guys, it was a hint that she won 2 Grammys for Midnights.
See, I think it's very creative and inspired that she chooses to put all these hints in things.
It's just really made the Swift fandom just that much more unbearable.
Yeah, this kind of crazy thing though is there's such like a conception of Swifties as like the worst people you will ever meet in your life. And to be honest, I think that's a very chronically online notion.
Oh, I agree. No,
because the majority of Swifties in real life are just like millennial women or just like teen girls who just don't have a super developed music taste.
Yeah. Most actual Swifties in real life are like extremely normal people. They're
very chill. Very normal.
Yeah, nobody online is a normal person. So let's just get that out of the way.
That's true.
Okay.
The chronically online are very not normal.
Yeah. So I guess do you just want to go like down the track list and then like say our thoughts generally?
Down the track list. Yeah. Maybe we stop after the first leg of the album.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so Fortnite, not the game.
Fortnite, Fortnight.
She had to have known. She had to have known some people were gonna make jokes about that title.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I don't think Fortnite starts the album on a very strong note.
Yeah, she always starts like with an interesting opener, like State of Grace, no, I can't think of any.
Oh, you were saying like Reputation, State of Grace. I feel like
I was saying Reputation, even my least favorite Taylor album. Ready for It is at least like it clues me and it like actually makes me intrigued, even if I don't love it. But Fortnite, I can't even hum it to you, which is horrible signs for a Taylor album.
Yeah, and it's also, I feel like, weirdly unindicative of like it's not a good intro.
Yeah, it doesn't really set the vibe for the rest of the album.
And maybe that speaks to like, I feel like more than like, like this
not
is
really
kind
a cohesive sound in this album. There's a vibe, but there's not a cohesive sound.
I think this is definitely her most like eclectic album since like Red. I feel like
Red has a very specific sound though.
Yeah, but then Red.
It's very sonically stuck in that transition from like pop country to full pop.
Sure, but even then, I feel like there's still like different like excursions and like experiments that she goes on, like I knew you were trouble when you walked in.
And there's more like Max Martin production. Mm-hmm. There's more piano backing on some of those tracks, but there's nothing specific about the Tortured Poets Department, and I think that's what bogs it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to say I thought it was really interesting. She went just no singles. And I think somebody made a really good point that this feels like an album for like her fans. She doesn't need to appeal to the mainstream. She doesn't need to like prove anything. She doesn't need to have commercial success. Her commercial success will come from her fans at this point.
Well, that's an aspect where I'm kind of split, because I want to say that I kind of do kind of appreciate how like
Yeah, I appreciate that.
like
I just
how
wish it was better in execution.
like I do appreciate how specific this album feels, and how it feels like, okay, she's mostly just shooting for the people who are going to appreciate what she does, which I feel like normally, I would actually appreciate from an artist. But then again, the fact that the numbers are still so big, and it's like,
it's crazy.
I
I
can't.
looked the other day, and like 4 out of the first 5 tracks, the numbers are like 33 million plus already.
Yeah, and I just feel like I don't know if Taylor is actually like. I think maybe one day Taylor will be both, but I just feel like right now at this specific moment, I don't think she can really do both, because I just feel like any attempt, I feel like, of getting more insular, of like, like bunkering down on like her appeal, is just going to come off across as like deeply uninteresting.
I think that might have been part of what caused that Folklore and Evermore era. Was she like Lover was her first album out of the record label. It was still very mainstream, still very in that. But then like she kind of was in this state of like popular, but not like on top of the world like she was. So she could take that creative risk. And I'm not sure she's able to do that right now.
Well, the thing is that I don't necessarily think that sticking to your base fan appeal necessarily even, I think, translates to what I would call a creative risk. I would say Folklore and Evermore.
Yeah.
I think those albums are characterized by like, they're almost like critic bait albums, where I feel like she was like,
she had something to prove. She didn't have something to prove to the mainstream. She has something to prove to critics.
No, exactly, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think
because Reputation was not received well by critics. Lover was very mixed reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So she was kind of at this point in her career where she was coming off of 2 like not well received albums.
Yeah.
So it was more of a question of how long can she stay at the top with these, because eventually it's unsustainable.
Yeah. And so it begs the question now, if the Torture to Poet department is not for the people, it isn't for mass appeal, it isn't for the critics, then like who at this point is really keeping Taylor Swift accountable to her success? Because I'm okay if anybody wants to make this kind of album that is like very specific, but at that point, like it's shooting over, it's like it's hitting massively over her like expected batting average, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's also the pitfall of making an album so specifically for like a fan base. At her popularity, everybody's going to listen to it and form an opinion.
Yeah.
Her haters are going to see lyrics that are taken out of context and posted everywhere. And they're going to see specific moments and hate on her, and people who love her are going to love everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not unanimously, of course.
Sure.
But they gravitate more towards that. And so the love is more insulated to the fan base. So much more of the mainstream people audience is exposed to like the negativity.
Yes, exactly.
I think we should start talking about the track lists again.
Well, I think that's some useful things we said.
Yeah.
No, Fortnite.
Fortnite, I have
It's boring.
the production is incredibly boring.
Yeah, and Post Malone's
And I think
wasted.
that's what makes it a really uninteresting opener, is there's nothing drawing you in. I have in my notes here Jack Antonoff cursing emoji.
Absolutely. I think
Explains most of my thoughts on the first leg of this album.
I think one thing for me is the fact that there are moments on this album that we'll talk about that like are incredibly like chaotic and like messy almost, that like are just like so left field, and those are some of my favorite moments on the album. Post Malone is kind of like a chaotic kind of artist, right? Like his music is built on like
he brings an unpredictable element because he broke out as a rap artist, kind of took a more pop centric focus, and kind of his latest album was like very not and mainstream, and then he appeared on Beyonce's country album with like a totally different feel.
Yeah, and
so like anything goes with him, and he's kind of this X factor at this point, and he's like backing vocals, like it's just Snow on the Beach Part 2.
It just doesn't make sense if you're going like I sent this in the group chat.
Why would you even have him there? You can just get like just a less popular artist. You don't even have to feature him. Just like it'd be cool if he was backing vocals and not credited, because it'd just be like a cool little thing. But
oh sure, yeah.
Like when you feature him, there's the expectation that he's there, and he's also like prominently in the music video.
Yeah.
So I kept waiting for like a Post Malone verse to come, and it never came.
Yeah, it just doesn't
and that's
happen.
why I feel like it was like Snow on the Beach, like waiting for something interesting to happen and this verse to come in, and it never happens.
Yeah, I sent this in the group chat that Post Malone should have been on. I guess any number of tracks that we'll talk about. No, he should have been on the next track from singing from the perspective of Maddie Healy.
That's an interesting perspective. I can see that, but I'm not sure what it redeems that. But I think Fortnite just gets a bit repetitive by the end, especially because there's no shakeup with like Post Malone coming in. I do think it's not poorly written. It just doesn't stand out.
For sure. I think
it's hard to appreciate any lyricism when it's so boring.
Yeah, I think Fortnite, like a lot of the tracks, it's only 3 more. This entire album, I feel like, suffers from the songs feeling just like a little too long.
Yeah, there are quite a few long tracks on this, and I don't think a lot of them justify their length.
Which is crazy, because like 3 minutes and 48 seconds isn't even that long, but it's like
this isn't even a long track.
It's not even a long track. It just feels so long. I don't know.
It feels long because it never goes anywhere. It's aimless.
No, exactly.
I think the Tortured Post Department, the title track, it's not aimless.
No.
It just also suffers from boring production syndrome.
Yes.
I think the vocals are fine on it, but there are some really strange throwaway bars.
Okay, I'll be honest. I'm kind of torn on the title track, the Tortured Poets Department, because
I'm not. I don't like it.
Well,
like I have that there are glimpses of good here. They just are so outweighed by just the weird throwaway parts for me.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'll say is that like I think I'm torn on it because I think I kind of appreciate it in a way that I'm not sure was intended. I think that it's kind of a like, it's this track that's sort of like
I heard that
mapping out.
I heard that this is apparently like one of her boyfriends, probably Maddie Healy, had like a group chat that was like the tortured men's department or something like that, and it's a play on that. I think that's a clever way to go for the album. I just don't think it really helps.
Well, what I was gonna say is what I was gonna say is that it kind of it's about her relationship with Maddie Healy, right? And it's I think it's a pretty evocative picture painting of this kind of like deeply grotesque relationship. You know, when you think about it, it's like Taylor Swift and Maddie Healy.
Sorry, go ahead.
They don't make sense together.
No, not at all.
It always felt like something that was like intentionally provocative and maybe even a little like self-destructive on Swift's part. And I think the Tortured Poets department, it doesn't exactly put it in these exact terms, but the lyricism and it all comes together as like so wrong that I think it actually switches around to being effective. The problem is that I don't know if Taylor Swift wrote this song as like a sincere celebration of their relationship or not. And so I can't fully
seem to look fondly upon her relationship at all.
Yeah, so I can't fully endorse it.
But at the same time, like later in the track list, she's like strangely defensive about it too.
Yeah.
I want to point out these lyrics: "You smoked and ate 7 bars of chocolate. We declared Charlie Puth should be a bigger artist. I scratch your head, you fall asleep like a tattooed golden retriever. An artist, a songwriter of her caliber should never write something this poor."
Yeah, 7 bars of chocolate is kind of good because that's a Maddie Healy song. But
why Charlie Puth?
Well, Maddie Healy.
Why mention Charlie Puth if you've never featured him on the song and you don't feature him here? Why would you want him to be a bigger artist? You clearly don't care about him being a bigger artist.
Well, apparently Maddie Healy likes Charlie Puth. I don't know.
That checks out. Unfortunately,
Healy, Charlie Puth isn't even that like insignificant. Like he's pretty big. I don't know.
Yeah, he's big, but like big in a way that like he's one of those artists that's like big but doesn't have like a dedicated fan base.
Well, because his music is like consistently hit or miss.
That's generous.
I mean, I like Attention. That song is like, you know, really, really good.
It was 8 years ago. It's time to let go.
Okay, come on. Okay, listen. That song
Taylor
is so
Swift doesn't hold grudges that long.
Attention is so good.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think we should move on.
Sure.
My boy only breaks his favorite toys. I think the title is very cringe, but I think the hook got it in my head a little bit. I think it's possible.
Yeah. The hook I think really works. It's
I think I can give this a pass.
Yeah, this
I think it's all right.
Yeah, this gives the Swifter pass.
It's like it's like a like good for me. The hook kind of carries it.
Well, sure. I mean, that's kind of it works. I'd say it's a good spot in the track list because it kind of like is the, you know, it's in that 3 hole. It kind of comes in after like 2 pretty like mid tempo, not quite ballads, and then just gives like a solid hook. It's like, I don't know. It kind of keeps the momentum for me going forward.
Yeah, this is the only hook up to this point that I thought was decent. I was like, those other favorite toys.
Yeah.
Toys. Like, I was like, no, that's a little catchy, but it won't like stick with me for like years, but it's something.
It's the first one so far where Swift has a solo writing credit, for what it's worth.
I wasn't picking up on the writing credits, but I was so paying attention to the production credits because I could tell.
Oh, I have the Wikipedia page, the track list just right in front of me.
Unfortunately, that moment of good doesn't last.
Oh yeah.
Down bad I have on my notes. She is in her 30s. Crazy if this is about Maddie Healy.
Yeah, it's I don't remember where. I feel like I put it kind of in the middle of my track list ranking.
It was, in terms of the bass album, it was close to the bottom.
Well,
I can't buy into it. I think this kind of like internet lingo is beneath her.
yeah, and I feel like she like also this has got to be like a record for the most amount of times she's sworn in a song.
Yeah, and it just doesn't work for her.
It doesn't.
I put quotation marks teenage petulance, 3 question marks. Tying back to she is in her 30s. Not that it feels like one of those like, oh, I'm like a 30-year-old teenage girl.
Well, I feel like a lot of the album kind of plays like that.
Yeah, I feel like the lyricism feels like some of the worst moments on Midnights.
Oh yeah.
I think she just half-assed this entire song.
For sure. I think in general, I feel like the internal rhythm kind of makes it work for me. You know, I feel like the way that like in the chorus, just the way that like just like the rhythm is like enough to like kind of like put it above some of the other tracks for me. And I feel like the lyricism being bad kind of works for me because, and to that extent, that it's like, you know, it's like a little more interesting.
Yeah, I think we're reaching the point where our opinions start to diverge more.
Yeah.
Then we have the first Aaron Dessner track, "So Long London." I'm reading some of my notes verbatim because I just think they're funny sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I have Aaron Dessner, "Save Us," "Prayer Hands." Definitely about Joe Alwyn, "Are You Kidding Me?" She loves her vocal layering, and this one got me a little bit.
"So Long London" doesn't do anything for me.
See, this one made me a little bit emotional because I think it's better written than anything before it. I think Erin Dessner really elevates her style just because like she has a very effective but kind of like simple way of singing a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
And his production kind of matches that. I thought it was a good ballad. I also thought it was really interesting that this is like the only Joe Alwyn song.
Well, we got a full album in like we got a full album in like 3/4 of Joe Alwyn tracks on Midnights. So I feel like
but like between Midnights and Tortured Post Apartment, like they broke up.
Yeah.
So it's just strange that the woman so known for breakup tracks and so known for like she dated Joe Alwyn. Like I think he was like the longest relationship she had.
Oh yeah.
How does she not have more material about him? Why is Maddie Healy? I feel like this album would be better if it was less about Maddie Healy.
Sure. Well, Maddie,
because
yeah,
you can like portray other guys as like charming, but like ultimately hurt her, like Jake Gyllenhaal, John Mayer, like really classic examples. But like I don't feel sympathy for the devil and Maddie Healy. I don't like that guy.
Well,
I don't feel the same way about him as she apparently did.
Well, the problem is that Jake Gyllenhaal, okay, so specifically, you know, comparing them, Jake Gyllenhaal, I feel like, is a generally likable figure who had a very unlikable relationship to Taylor Swift. Matt,
there's been other unlikable things that have surfaced about him, but
sure,
as a public figure, he's not too controversial.
Matty Healy is a rancid public figure who had a extremely normal relationship with Taylor Swift.
Had notable controversies right before dating her,
And like after and during, it was a little rough, maybe.
that was a rough period of time.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to So Long. I'll give it an independent run. But in the
for me, it just stood out.
Yeah, where it is on the track list, it just didn't really do anything for me. But I think if I listened to it on its own,
the track list fails. The track list fails so many times in this album. It doesn't feel cohesive.
Horrible sequencing in general.
Yeah, I don't know what it's trying to do with the sequencing. I don't know how you would rearrange it, but it doesn't feel cohesive.
I think you would just write different songs, probably.
Write better songs, yeah.
And produce them better.
But Daddy I Love Him is probably the most I feel conflicted about any of the songs here.
I kind of like it.
I kind of like it, and then I kind of am kind of meh on it, and then I kind of dislike it, but then I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I said it. It sounds like Speak Now sonically.
Yeah.
With the guitar.
It sounds like Speak Now, like even like I feel like some moments on Red. On the chorus.
It was interesting in that way. It's very combative.
Well, I think I think it does the Taylor Swift kind of like drawing upon a like teenage attitude in a way that I think is better than Down Bad.
Yeah, I just find that wearing on me thin at this point in her career, but I understand that too.
Yeah.
Also, I put definitely about Matty Healy and Swifties, LMAO. Also, part of what really turns me off to this song when I want to start liking it is like the I'm gonna have his babies. No, not really, but you something.
Oh, you should see your faces.
But you hang on, where is it? Oh, screaming, but Daddy, I love him. I'm having his baby. No, I'm not, but you should see your faces. I can't stand that sentence, that sequence of lines. It's so unnecessary.
I think it would work better. The problem with the one problem, the problem, well, not the one problem, a problem with it's in the execution, right? Like she says, I'm having his baby. No, I'm not, but you should see his face. Like it doesn't work as like a bait and switch because there's like no pause between the first part and the second half, like the second part. Like she should say the first sentence, pause, no, I'm not, but you should see your faces. Like that works as like a whatever.
Yeah. My problem is she positions it. Not only that it's cringe, but she also positions it as this like, oh my god, you think he's so horrible. You couldn't stand me having his children, but I'm just having the time of my life with him. And it's like, no, he's a bad person. That's why we don't like him.
I kind of I don't necessarily read this as Matty Healy specifically, but I agree. When you read it, when you put Matty Healy in the passenger
when you put his face, when the relationship is so public, it kind of has to be about him.
I think that's one of the
because they did not feel this strongly about Joe Alwyn.
No,
to be quite frank.
No, you're right. I do wonder if Taylor necessarily like intends for it to be so specifically about Matty Healy rather than just sort of like metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, I think that's the pitfall though, is that that she, like, a lot of her past relationships were more like she was seen with this guy, and then later it's like, yeah, like they're dating. But
Yeah.
like, she was dating Maddie Healy, and everybody knows.
Yeah.
Also, like, the latter half is like so entirely about Swifties. Like, judgmental creeps say they want what's best for me, sanctimoniously performing soliloquies I'll never see. Um, like, that entire verse is just so combative.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. In many ways I feel like it's kind of like a regression to like even like Blank Space, I feel like. Or Shake It Off, I feel like
In
is
ways, it's kind of like it's kind of more juvenile than like a down bad because there's like no tongue in cheek. She's like entirely convinced that she is so like wise and like, see, I got you.
yeah, no, sure.
Okay, let's move on. Um, Fresh Off the Slammer, I think is fine. I kind of like it. Um, I said at the beginning, it sounds entirely like West Coast by Lana Del Rey off of Ultraviolence. The first like little guitar,
I don't
and
re-
I was thinking like it sounds like a Lana Del Rey song. I was like, it sounds like West Coast.
I don't remember that Lana track that well.
The guitar goes like do 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 do.
Hmm.
It's very similar, but I said it's a very weird premise, but I buy into it a little bit just because of like how absurd
Hmm.
and how consistent throughout the track she goes on.
Yeah.
Um, the vocals are good. I said Jackie Antonoff remembered how to produce.
I, I I don't know. I feel like Fresh Out the Slammer for me, it's weird. It kind of feels almost like an interlude moment. I don't think it really ever.
Yeah, it's a little short.
Well, I mean, it's not that. Yeah, I feel like it feels a little short because it's like it stays in this like moment where it stays in this space where it is about to like take off, just like get going, like have the song actually like start. But for 3 minutes and 30 seconds, it doesn't really get there, and so it kind of feels like
Yeah,
like an interlude.
I can see that. Um, just I saw somebody say that like, um, actually, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not sure it makes sense in my head.
Okay,
Um, all right, Florida, three exclamation marks.
I like Florida a lot.
I I buy into it just because of how sincere it is, but like the lyrics are kind of weird. I have my friends all smell like weed or little babies. What did she mean by this?
I think she means that her friends are either stoners or parents.
See, I just hear that and I'm like, what the hell is she saying?
Sure, no, completely. Um,
Also, the entire premise is like, um, oh, a timeshare. Is it all about a timeshare in Florida that she just goes to sometimes? And it's so weird, but like the chorus is too good.
yeah, no, the chorus is great. Oh, Elephant in the Room. This track,
Florida.
this track is heavily elevated by the presence of Florence Welch of Florence and the Machine.
Yeah, she definitely helps bring an explosiveness to it that's like explosive by Taylor standards.
And
And yet, I don't really feel like their voices mesh super well.
it doesn't. It doesn't.
It's just that like
Yeah.
It's just in the end, it doesn't matter because it's just coming at you with so much
No, for
like
sure.
energy.
And I mean, Flores Welch knows how to write a song, and she helped co-write this, and
Yeah,
I agree. It doesn't necessarily, they don't necessarily have the most vocal chemistry, but I think just texturally, Welch has just such a great voice, and
yeah. She
I
just kind of owns it. She kind of overtakes her a little bit on the chorus.
well, for sure, but I think that it honestly kind of justifies Taylor a little bit because, a full 2 hours of Taylor, who has this very like, honestly, kind of like alto-y kind of,
Soft-spoken.
yeah, kind of like soft, kind of not soft in the same way that like Lana or Billie are soft, but like this very like pure kind of not very flexible straight sort of alto tone, having that put up against like this like really intense texture that Florence Welch is bringing, I kind of like it when they kind of like go back and forth some points in this track.
Yeah, it's definitely more interesting than most of the album. I like that you took the risk because this album's very safe most of the time.
Yeah, it's just, I mean,
Um,
Florida, it's a hell of a drug.
um, I think these next few tracks we're gonna disagree on a little bit.
Okay.
Guilty as Sin, I like it a lot actually.
Oh, I like Guilty as Sin a lot too. Yeah.
Oh, really? I thought it was lower in your
No, it's
rankings.
literally number one.
Oh, no, because that's the chorus that still sticks in my head the most out of the standard track list.
Oh,
Like the
yeah.
Can I be guilty as sin?
I think
Also, she does the thing. She does the thing. She says the title of the track at the end of the chorus.
oh yeah, she did the Taylor stinger.
She did the thing. She proved us right.
Well, I think for me it's one of the better written songs. Not really many blunders here.
Yeah. There's better lyricism. I think it's the best chorus of the standard track list, and the production's good.
Yeah, and I'll say like topically, it stands out for Taylor as a song that is explicitly about sex. Like it's just
It's a little more introspective than a lot of the surface level here.
for sure, for sure. But it's like hearing Taylor sing, hearing Taylor Swift sing "We've Already Done It in My Head" is like that's crazy because she usually doesn't
Kind of
go
crazy.
there. Like she usually,
Yeah, she's very like clean image
yeah,
wise, which is funny because she had the whole Reputation era. But
yeah, and she's like gradually swearing more and more in her songs. But like this is like,
it'd be a horrible time to release Taylor's version of Reputation.
oh, but that's coming next, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I hope she gets through that cycle pretty quick.
Back to sequencing though. Like this after Florida is so weird.
Yeah, I kind of like it though cuz I mean, they're both pretty good songs. And so Fresh Out the
Yeah.
Slammer, like I think But Daddy I Love Him, Fresh Out the Slammer, Florida and Guilty as Sin are, I feel like, is a pretty solid run of tracks. Maybe not necessarily thematically, but like just like the interest level I think is like maintained.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have much more to say on it. It's just good.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. Who's Afraid of Little Me? You like this song
I do
a
kind
fair
of
bit.
I do like it.
I don't.
I like it because it's weird.
I put Reputation as lyrics.
I know.
I just can't get behind the premise. I just can't get behind what she's trying to go for here.
Sure, but it's like way funnier than Reputation though. She's like, it's not all about me, but maybe it is.
No, that's why I can't get behind the premise. It's like what's going on in her head?
It's so funny.
I also said it's way too long for a bridgeless Taylor song.
Is there really
I
no?
kept
There is a
waiting for there
bridge.
to be a bridge in this 5 minute 40 second song.
Genius says there's a bridge, um, but I
I don't
don't.
believe them.
It doesn't really read as a. It's kind of long though. It's yeah.
See, I just don't believe them. This is just a chord. This is another verse. This isn't a bridge.
Yeah. Is this one gives us? Does this one give us the lines? That everyone's been posting on Twitter.
Oh my god, I don't know. Actually,
Wait. You wouldn't
I
last.
remember hearing that.
You wouldn't last an hour in the asylum they raised me.
Like, you grew up in Allentown, girl. Calm down.
No, it's so good. I don't know. If somebody said
No,
this
she's
is,
from Altoona. Sorry, she's from Altoona.
if somebody said that this was the worst song on the album, I would take them seriously, and I think that's a very valuable. I think that's a very valid perspective. However, it is extremely funny, and I like it on those bases.
Yeah, no, sorry. She's from Reading. I'm sorry. It's like that Curtis Connor meme. Like, she was from Manitoba. She was from Reading.
What's the deep Pennsylvania lore on Reading?
Boring. Kind of a bad place. Look here.
Fair enough.
Okay, now we got two. I can fix him. No, really, I can.
Where did I put this?
It's plain. It's a little nice, but it's
Yeah.
a bit underdeveloped.
Yeah, no, totally.
I just think if it was developed more, I'd like it more. But shockingly, from the title, it's not bad.
Yeah, that's another running theme on this album. The titles are
The titles are horrible.
horrible titles.
They're like this. You would expect this from like a TikTok artist.
Yeah, I think generally the album titles, they don't play that embarrassing in the actual songs themselves, but she's seemingly, for many of these tracks, took the most obnoxious line from the song and made it the title.
She took the worst the worst phrase from every song and put as title.
Yeah.
This next one I actually was kind of shocked was low in your rankings. Love of My Life.
Oh, Lost of My Life? I put that last. I don't know. I can't.
Really, it's LOML. So,
Well, she says.
I guess it's a double entendre in that sense.
Well, I don't think she says. She don't think she says "Love of My Life" in the actual song. She
That's
says.
true.
She
I
says.
think I just assumed that.
She says, "I'm the love of your life," and then at the end she says, "You're the loss of my life."
See, I knew she said, "I'm the lost of your life," or "I'm the love of your life."
Yeah, but it's your life, not my life, so it can't be the title.
I really dig Desner's piano on this track. I think it makes it a nice little ballad.
Yeah, I think generally I just struggled with the ballads on this album because I think they're, I don't know. I'll give this one another listen.
Resolved to give it another listen.
I'll resolve to give it another listen.
I will say, I think Desner does better sonic production on the second half.
Sure.
I think his better cuts are there.
Yeah, I think that's.
I think this is fine.
Yeah.
We disagree on I Can Do With a Broken Heart.
Sure.
My My notes here. Here is my notes. Antonov. Dot dot dot. No, it's so hard being a billionaire. Love her ass lyrics. My record-breaking tour was so hard. Jack hitting us with the stock music production. Stop reminding us you're rich millennials. I
Uh,
was pissed.
yeah, I can't defend my like of this song. I just kind of do. It it the like the
It
first.
feels like it feels like a movie. It feels like a song that would feature in like a bad Lifetime movie biopic about Taylor Swift's life, but made
Sure.
specifically for the soundtrack.
No, I get that. I just feel like the chorus works for me, and I can't explain why, but I don't know. I think it's just like when it like kicks like the kick in right before the chorus is like boom, and then she's like I'm so depressed, and the way she delivers the line, it's just like it feels very like self-aware to that extent.
Yeah, but it's not self-aware in a way that it is charming to me.
That's fair. This is another.
It feels like it's kind of sympathy farming.
uh I don't think it is that as much as Antihero was.
I think I dislike this more than Antihero.
Oh, I mean that's fair. I don't know. I can't.
Antihero is more like bad and like I just don't care for it. This is bad and like and I actively want to turn this off and listen to something else.
Sure.
You lost me.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I
This
completely.
is so poorly written. This is like the worst of Lover. It reminds me of like You Need to Calm Down, The
Oh,
Man, those
it's better.
tracks.
It's better than you can. You need to calm down.
I'll agree on that.
No, I can't defend me liking this song. I don't know. It works for me for some reason.
Yeah. The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. I think we both like this.
Uh, yeah, I like it a fair amount.
Really? I think it has better lyricism. The production's decent. Um, but I started wondering, like, why aren't there more guitars in this album? Like, it's actually really strange.
Yeah,
Because even on like the one that sounds like Speak Now, it's just like a fleeting moment.
hmm,
And like guitars are like an integral part of debut through like Red.
sure.
And
And even on like,
of course like the 1989
mm,
through Lover era kind of or more like Max Martin, Jack Antonoff.
hmm,
But like the guitars came back and, and then they left again.
yeah. I think it's definitely the Jack Antonoff influence that I feel like is kind of keeping them down.
Yeah.
Because
I
when
think
she,
we need to get rid of him.
well, because when she brings in like Aaron Dessner, it's gonna be for a ballad, seemingly, and
Yeah.
they're gonna be more piano focused.
Or just B-side tracks.
Yeah, no, yeah, totally. Um, which is strange
Um
because Taylor Swift like ostensibly is a guitarist.
yeah, she can play the guitar.
She could play the guitar. I
She
honestly,
never forgot how.
I'm just honestly, yeah. The more I think about it, the more I'm just like, I just wish Taylor made the guitar more part of what she does. When I feel like
Yeah,
when
it's
she
just
brings it
weird.
in, it's usually for like a, I don't know. It feels like a gimmick, kind of. I don't know why.
Yeah. Also, this is the part where I start to realize she really does go on a lot of diatribes in this album.
Oh yeah, it's very tangenty. I feel like.
See, a tangent is like just you're kind of talking about one thing and then you tail off into deeper into it or just another thing entirely. But the diatribe is like she's specifically talking about just going deeper and deeper into this one point.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, why?
Oh, for sure.
I don't think it's bad on this track.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying it's very overarching.
Yeah.
Okay, the alchemy. She again does this thing, the title at the end of the chorus thing, but I don't remember it as strongly as Guilty as Sin.
No, it's not as good. But this one's fine.
Yeah, I said fine, but nothing great. It feels like Antonov keeps trying to layer instrumentation unsuccessfully.
Yeah, I think it would have been a more dud album. It would be a less good song on a better album, but I think in the context it kind of is somewhat of a standout. I think it's definitely stronger than. Is it stronger than? No, I don't think it's stronger than The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, but I forgot what I was going to say.
It was just forgettable for me. That was the problem. It didn't stick with me. And it might be partially the production.
Oh, yeah. Antonov.
God damn you, Antonov.
God damn you, Antonov. Stop swinging outside the strike zone. You're not gonna bat over 100 with that swing.
You swung and you missed. That's strike one. Don't you strike out, boy.
Jack Antonov, how the hell do you strike out swinging on one pitch? I didn't even know that was possible, Antonov. Antonov, don't stand. Don't. Antonov, don't pick up the pace.
That one episode of The Fairly Odd Parents where they're playing baseball and Chester and he's like his bat whips around 3 times.
I don't remember that episode.
It was the episode where he Timmy wishes that he was really good at baseball and then he becomes an asshole. At the beginning, he just swings and then bat whips around twice. They're strike one, strike two, strike three.
Oh, the ball stays in the same. Oh yeah. Antonov.
Clarabelle said, Matt, it doesn't really build to anything. It's kind of a weak closer.
It's a very weak closer. I think I don't know why it's the closer.
Taylor usually has pretty decent closers too.
Sure. I want to say I have a sneaky suspicion she made it the closer because on the outro it says you look like Taylor Swift. And she was like, "Oh damn, isn't that kind of poetic to end the album with?" And I'm like,
"Isn't that crazy?"
I guess.
I think no spoilers, but I think the closer for the B-sides is way more fitting.
Well, it's the closer on the vinyl edition of the standard album, I'm pretty sure too. So
why wouldn't it be on the normal album?
Because she hates people.
Why would you actively hinder your own album?
It's highway robbery. I'm telling you.
Anyway, 2 hours later, she dropped the. It's the anthology, right?
Yeah, the anthology.
It's the same hit or miss ratio for me, but the better tracks are way better.
To me, okay, here's my take on it. I haven't re-listened to the anthology, and my memory on it is kind of foggy. But my take on it the Torture to Poets Department, it's kind of a mix between mid-tempo-y things, ballads, and general pop songs that are pop songs with a hook. The anthology gives us a whole extra hour of ballads produced by Aaron Dessner.
I heard that the anthology edition is 2 hours and 2 minutes. I can't verify that, but that is insane dedication to the bit.
Yeah. So the track, like disc side one, she called it a double album. The normal album is already a double album, so the anthology version is actually a quadruple album. If we're getting
that's crazy.
If we're getting the terminology right, the discs
insert GIF of Scrooge McDuck diving into money.
So the anthology is 57 minutes, just like almost just a little under the first side, which is 65.
On that, I'm like really frustrated that most of the discourse around this is not about the album. It's just about Taylor Swift and about her marketing and about her release and about the Swifties and about the culture.
Well, sure, but that's, I mean,
they affect it, but like they're ultimately not the album itself.
But that's what happens.
They're just external factors.
But that's what happens when you release a boring album, right? Like if the album was super interesting,
they have to find something to talk about with it.
Exactly. And the album doesn't give enough substance to talk about anything else. And I mean, like, you could talk about just the album. You know, I feel like, I mean, hell knows we didn't just talk about the album. I mean, we talked a fair bit about the album. But it's like, if you're not providing the substance, and people, like music critic writers and people generally are not going to, they're not going to dig for substance if you don't explicitly give out the substance. You know, like
I think it really rubbed the discourse the wrong way when the reviews came out, like 100 instant classic, whatever.
Sure. And I think there's some luckily there was some counter whatever perspectives that have started to come out in like against this album generally, but
it did. I was a little frustrated with the fact that Fantano like put on the red flannel and then he just wasn't very overtly negative. He didn't really hate the album. He
gave it a 3 at the end of the day. The normal one, at least.
Really? I thought he gave he gave the anthology a light 5.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes more sense. I didn't remember him giving it the base standard album score.
He did it at the beginning of his review of the anthology.
Oh, that's why I missed it. Because I think I just got lost in him talking with like his character.
Oh, Cal Chestis or whatever.
Cal
Chestis.
He's been. I think we should cut the review off here and then just keep recording and then just release the anthology review 2 hours later.
I like that idea.